a new week. Welcome new subscribers. I noted that my last video was very popular. Thank you so much for everybody who has watched, and I just want to welcome you to the Sewist community, and I hope that you'll be able to check out all the other videos I have done, which I'll actually mention some of them today because of what we're talking about, which is shopping for clothes. I know I did the Black Friday shopping online series, but this specific episode is about shopping for clothes, whether you're thrifting, whether you're buying from a shop, whether you're still buying online. I just wanted to add a few more tips because I know sometimes people get very lost in this shopping for clothes thing, and I hope you stay tuned. So I say let's begin. Also, point of note, this is the last episode for this year. We will resume back in January because I know you're gonna get busy, and I know I don't get a lot of views when the dates move closer to Christmas. So in advance, I wanted to say Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and let's begin. So let's begin, and we are going to start with the 5 places that you can get clothes from here in Kenya. And I'm going to start with the one that I guess it depends on who you go to, but number 1 is custom-made clothes. Custom-made clothes tend to be more expensive for most people because you're actually getting something made to fit you. Of course, here in Kenya we have diverse ranges of prices in labor, but that also means we have diverse skill levels. So maybe the outfit is cheap because you're paying for a very low skill level, and it can also be very expensive. So custom-made clothes, it may be, at least during this time, you should at least treat yourself to one custom-made outfit. And I know because of how expensive it is, and generally tailoring, especially alterations, is pretty affordable here. So what I have seen people do is buy new clothes and get it altered, or buy thrifted clothes and get it revamped, upcycled by a tailor and things like that. So there are very many ways of doing custom made clothes, and of course I definitely vouch for having something made from scratch because that's what I do. And yes, that's the first one. That's the first way you can have clothes made, or how you can get clothes. The second one I would tell you about is boutiques. Boutiques generally have very curated clothes and accessories. So basically you will find that the owner of the boutique has picked certain pieces that maybe is in line with the theme they're trying to do in the boutique. So my advice is definitely find boutiques that maybe carry your style. Examples are, there are some boutiques, because there are very many in the central business district, that only stock office wear because they know most of their clients are looking for office wear. There are some that only stock beach wear or swimwear. There are some that only stock African print. There are some that only stock curios and gift items. So boutiques range. And talking about shopping for clothes doesn't just mean clothes, it also means accessories and just generally everything you need to have a full outfit. So definitely check boutiques if you have a particular style. If you're very particular, it could help. Maybe there are several that have the same aesthetic, it could really help. Or I guess just shop around in different boutiques and mix and match and come up with your own style. Like, there are no rules. So number 2 is boutiques. The third one is department stores. Most of them you will find them in malls. So brands like Woolworths, Truworths, Basic Intimates. Basic Intimates is for lingerie, and I know that they actually stock lingerie from different brands and stuff like that. And I'm talking from experience because I've shopped from them, and even Mr. Price. There are very many boutique shops. So the beauty of, not boutique shops, sorry, department stores. The beauty of department stores is that they have almost everything you need to put together an outfit. They have the shoes, the bags, the clothes, the headgear, the sunglasses, everything. So you'll find that you can be able to buy everything in one shop. So there are not very many here in Kenya, but You will find the ones I've named in most malls because they tend to just open in a lot of malls. But their prices range. It really depends on the shops. There's some have a bit pricey, some are a bit lower. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. So department stores are number 3. So one of the ones that's really coming up and growing is online. And when I'm talking about online, I'm not just talking about platforms like ShopZetu. ShopZetu is actually like a multi-brand online store. I think it's the biggest right now, specifically for clothes. There are other online platforms like Jumia that also sell clothes and other things, but specifically for clothes, ShopZetu is definitely the biggest one that is made in Kenya. And yes, of course, there's still Alibaba and Amazon and all that. You all have access to that. The goodness of online is that you're not limited to shopping in your country. You can shop from all over the world. The other thing that I want to mention about online is social media, because social media still counts as online. And I know in Kenya that there are people who sell directly from their Facebook page, directly from their Instagram pages, or any social media platforms or other websites that are basically they don't necessarily process the buying, but they just help you with listing. Example, Gigi, because I know with Gigi you still have to talk to the seller directly, but I think the seller pays to post on Gigi, because I don't think it's free anyway, or maybe Gigi makes money from advertising. I'm not really sure, but I have shopped, I think I've shopped online for shoes, Umoja shoes. I've shopped on ShopZetu, I've shopped on Jumia, I have shopped on Instagram, I've shopped on Facebook, and there are, of course, customer service varies from shop to shop, but I definitely think it's worth trying to shop online. I know a lot of people are afraid of shopping online. Another platform I've forgotten to mention for online is WhatsApp. WhatsApp is still it's also very, very popular, and I think majority Kenyans prefer WhatsApp because you have the number of the person right there. I know most Kenyans are scared about being frauded or not getting what they ordered for, but I think that it's still very, very possible to shop online and get trustworthy people. I always check reviews, and I also ask for people who shopped in some of those places for their experience. So most of the time, even when I'm shopping, I shop because a lot of people have recommended the shop. I rarely risk, very rarely, yeah. And the goodness of Facebook and Instagram, the people who sell there, a lot of them have drop-off points in the central business district, so you don't even have to pay until you see the item physically, and then you can pay. And then there's some, of course, you pay up front. I guess it depends, but online is definitely an option, so give it a try. Something that has become almost a national pastime here in Kenya is, or at least in Nairobi, is thrifting for clothes. So most people will thrift for clothes in the market. Of course, there are people who have really tried to come up with a newer way of doing thrifting. They have thrifting shops. Some people are even thrifting for thrifting clothes online, but it doesn't beat going to the market, negotiating prices with the hawkers there, trying on things and all that. It's always cheaper, and I'm sure some of them actually are both online and you can also shop in person. And I think it's motivated mostly by the pandemic, and it just forced people to start thinking about other ways to sell their clothes. So I definitely recommend thrifting as an experience. I personally thrift once in a while. Sometimes I'll thrift for clothes where I'm trying to figure out a certain pattern and I can't figure it out. I'd go and look at the thrift. It's a very good way of getting patterns. So if you sew as a hobby, you can consider thrifting clothes, cutting it apart and trying to remake it. It really, really helps your sewing skill. That's number one. Number two, I love to thrift for trousers because I don't like making trousers. And so my jeans, my khakis, I prefer to just go and thrift them. And yeah, so thrifting for sure is something that is popular. I don't know if it's necessarily popular for this December holidays because a lot of people like buying new clothes, but definitely for the rest of the year, thrifting is the most popular, and especially for baby clothes. And you know how fast babies grow. It's the best way to do it. Now we move on to the 8 tips for shopping for clothes. And number 1 is have a budget. I know that sometimes the good deals come later in the year, and sometimes if you don't buy that thing, it's just going to disappear. Okay, hear me out on the budget. I know I'm advocating for a budget, and yet my business relies on people coming to shop for clothes, but I also shop for clothes myself, and I will definitely I would still recommend having a budget. Having a budget every month helps you plan. So if you know basically the clothes you need to buy for the year, because I also think it's wiser to think about buying clothes and accessories for the whole year. Don't think only for when you see something you like is when you buy, or oh, the wedding has come 2 weeks, let me get something made. So if you decide that your monthly budget for clothes is say 10,000 shillings, and I'm including shoes, bags, accessories, other accessories, whatever it is you need plus your clothes, I would definitely recommend that if you do not really spend your budget for January, then carry it forward, that you can be able to spend it on something more expensive later. So if you have a standard budget, it helps you be able to figure out what you need to buy more, and it also helps you have money to replace things, because of course we always just replace the shoe once this other one is spoiled. So if you have the budget, knowing that you're going to need to replace some shoes, maybe your running shoes are getting old, or your socks have holes, or your pajamas are wearing out, it really helps to have a budget so that you can also just have the money to replace certain items. Because budgeting is not just about getting brand new clothes, it's also sometimes about replacing staples. Maybe you really love a certain color of leggings and you just want to replace them, and I know I have done that. Or maybe your bra is getting old and you need to buy new ones. Having a budget really helps. So I highly recommend having a budget, because it helps you not be caught off guard, and also disciplines you not overspending on one item when there are other things that you probably need to consider. And I think buying clothes doesn't stop because you're too young or you're too old. I think it's always important, so have that budget. So this second tip is more about planning. Have a mood board and a wish list together, because a mood board will basically help you figure out what your style is. So if you like a certain type of style, maybe you like long skirts and you're not very sure if it looks good on you or not, it's good to have a mood board. So Pinterest is very good for this, where you can just save things you like, and I know a lot of Kenyans do it. According to the statistics, the recent statistics, Pinterest is one of the top apps used in Kenya. So I'm sure people are using it for a lot of things. One of the things you can use it for is to save designs you like. Another thing I would definitely recommend is check the body shape of the design you're saving. I did a video earlier on in the year about body types and how to calculate your body type and everything like that. I'm going to put a link of that video in the description. Actually, I'll just put the whole playlist, because I talk about capsule collections, coming up with your staple wardrobe, statement pieces and everything like that. You will understand that more. I will put the link of that playlist in the description. It will really help you a lot figuring out all these things. So once you have your mood board and you know your body shape, you can eliminate, you can mix and match. You can decide, I need 5 blouses, 3 jeans, 2 skirts, 5 jackets, and you can even mix and match them and it will create different outfits. That is the wiser way of basically coming up with your wardrobe, instead of buying so many black tops and maybe you only wear one because it's your favorite and you really like the style and you really like how it makes you look. So really planning and thinking about it with a mood board and saving your ideas, it will really help you think about what you're doing when you're shopping online. Please do not just pick a design because you saw it on a celebrity or someone online and they look really nice. and you don't know how if it look nice on you. Sometimes it helps maybe if you're really saving for the big outfit at the end of the year or for the special occasion, but some of those styles are not always practical for every day. So also just think about your day-to-day life when you are planning your wardrobe. So definitely have that mood board. And of course, I will mention know your measurements. I know I mentioned that on the Black Friday series. Know your measurements. It's very important. Know your bust, waist, and hips. This helps you with online and shopping physically as well, and especially vintage. If you've ever shopped for vintage clothes, they normally don't necessarily just allow anyone to try them on, because if it's vintage, it might wear out or might basically damage in one way or another if it doesn't fit you especially. Anyway, know your measurements. It always helps. I know I've thrifted and sometimes someone is trying to sell me something that doesn't fit me because they just want to make a sale, and it's important when you know your measurements, and you can always remove that tape measure and measure the outfit and figure out if it's even worth trying on in the first place. So also just have a tape measure, but do know your measurements. If you can know all of them, even better, but at least minimum bust, waist, and hips for sure. And also always check the size charts, as I mentioned, because it helps you gauge where you are, especially shopping online. Another important tip is list the items you already have. The reason you're listing them is because you need to know what you're replacing. Maybe the leggings you've been wearing are wearing out, or your jeans are wearing out. So because basically listing them helps you know that there are items you need to replace. Maybe you're going to replace them with a totally new style, or you're just going to replace it exactly the same way because you really like that style and it's very flattering, or you don't want a certain style anymore, so you want to completely change your wardrobe and come up with new things. So having a list really helps you, and then you might actually find that there's some certain types of pieces you really like, and maybe because they are flattering to you, or you like how it makes you look, or it's very practical for your day-to-day life. So definitely make that list. Another one is basically diversify your wardrobe. So as I mentioned earlier, I have done a video on capsule collection and statement pieces and everything like that. So in a nutshell, basically coming up with your capsule collection means you have these certain pieces that you always need. Most capsule collections have the staples that are a black shirt, white shirt, black trouser, maybe khaki trouser or skirt, basically just neutral colors, most of them. Of course, there's also the whole thing about skin tone, undertone, and all that. I did that. I'm just going to put that playlist. It will really help you. Anyway, once you've done that, then now you can start thinking about the statement pieces. Basically, maybe something that you really like that is over the top. Could be earrings, it could be necklaces, it could be hair accessories, it could be a jacket that you swap up. Maybe it's a print jacket, or a fancy floral skirt. Whatever it is, a way to spruce up your wardrobe is to have some of those statement pieces that you just add on to what you already have. And of course, having a few very fancy dresses does not hurt. So definitely check out that video. It explains this way more, and it also helps you diversify because of the mixing and matching you can do with the different pieces you have. Diversify your clothes. The thing is, consult opinions of people. I know it's very important to be confident in yourself and know exactly what you like and what suits you, but there are occasions where it doesn't really hurt to consult a friend or a stylist depending on the occasion. I know there are people who need help with looking more professional, so I definitely recommend a stylist who's very good at that. There are other consultations I have done, especially for brides, where they really love a dress, but I always ask, please come with your mom or a lady who has some authority in your life, who will look at the dress and tell you, I know you really like this dress, but I don't know if it's wise to do your church ceremony without sleeves. It has happened. I know it sounds very casual, but it happens. So consulting does help once in a while. Also, sometimes you can also consult if you've seen a style, someone is telling you it's nice, and a friend of yours will tell you it's not really your style. Like, it's nice, but it's not really your style. I don't think you'll wear it. Sometimes those kind of opinions matter. Or it could also just be you chose something in the wrong color and maybe another color would be better. So sometimes consulting really does help you one way or another. So try multiple sizes. This would apply for both online and physical shops. For online, it's a bit tricky, especially if they do not have what you want in multiple sizes. But I know there are people who shop online and buy a size up and a size down depending on the measurements because they're not sure, and then they try it on and then they decide, oh, okay, I'll get this. So from my experience, I know I've bought shoes and I bought my exact shoe size, but that specific design for that shop, the shoe was small, so I had to get a bigger shoe. It really annoyed me because I had to pay for delivery fee twice. But sometimes it's also important to just have that conversation with the salespeople. Maybe sometimes they can be able to advise you. Sometimes it helps, sometimes not. But sometimes it's just good to consult that. So also when you are shopping physically, always just try the size high and a size lower. Why? Because sometimes you might want a bodycon dress and you've chosen your exact size and it looks nice, but you might actually go a size up and realize you like the fit better, or a size down and realize you like that fit better. So sometimes it's just good to check the multiple sizes, maybe because it just has a different effect and maybe you just feel more comfortable. So definitely just make the effort and try and do that. I definitely recommend going window shopping because it helps you plan ahead, think through if you really want to buy a certain item. I know going window shopping physically helps better because sometimes you can even feel the fabric. If you like the fabric, look at the heel if you really like it. Sometimes shopping in desperation is not good, and sometimes also going window shopping helps you know if you really ever needed a certain type of item, especially from boutique shops because they're so curated. You know, I saw something like this in that shop, let me ask them. Maybe they have it, or they have something similar or something close. Another thing for window shopping, even online, I do mean online as well, you can even save the item, because like I know on Instagram and Facebook, actually I think all platforms, there's a save button. You can actually save and then think about it and shop later. You don't have to shop the same day, you can shop a few days later, or some boutiques have a booking fee to allow you to think through it for 2 to 3 days before you purchase. But definitely don't stick to only shopping the day you need an item. Always shop with your eyes when you're going somewhere. Always look at an item, oh, I really like that, one day I'll come and get it, and then save it somewhere, write it down somewhere, keep it in mind so that the day you actually want it, or you know someone who's looking for something like that, you can easily recommend them. I personally do that, especially when I'm buying sewing supplies. When I'm buying fabric, I always look at what the other fabrics are, whether or not I'm getting them, and also just check what's new and all that, because I always get a client who will ask me for something that maybe I saw ages ago and I know where to get it. So I definitely recommend it. Lastly, I would definitely recommend taking a seat back and thinking through buying clothes. Put things on hold. Especially online, it's very easy to put things on hold. I've done that a lot on Jumia. Unfortunately, sometimes when I'm ready, the item is gone, but it's usually fine. Yeah, so learn to put things on hold if you're not very sure. Sometimes even during my own consultations with my clients who want outfits made and there is time, that's why it's always good to go early to order for clothes, and they are not very sure of the design. I always tell them to take their time, think through if they really want that design. Some people have completely changed their minds and feel like, go ahead, I think it's fine, let's do it. Because I also want people to own clothes that they will wear and they will love, not just wear for that one occasion, but keep wearing it. So putting things on hold is fine. You as a client, you have a right to keep things on hold. Maybe us who sell clothes, it could be very difficult, but I know I've done that even for fabric. Especially if I'm buying for a client and they're not sure if they really like that print, then definitely I'll ask my supplier to put it on hold. Have good relationships with your suppliers, guys. It really helps. And then the client can decide, and then we can buy later. So also just have a broad list and eliminate things from your list, even as you are putting things on hold. Maybe there are things you can eliminate and put. I know I've also done that. There are things I would buy online and I'm like, do I really need this right now? No, I can wait and buy it later. Or it also helps me put priority lists in my cart. Yes. So this is my last video for the year 2022, at least on this channel. I will definitely be back in January, and I just want to wish you all a happy holiday season if you don't celebrate Christmas, a Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and generally just enjoy yourselves during this holiday season if you're actually on holiday. There's so many ifs and buts. But thank you so much for your support this year. We have at least doubled our subscription, which I'm very, very grateful for, and I hope that we will continue to grow as a channel. Please share the videos with people you think would really benefit from. And I've realized my audience generally are people who study fashion or study sewing or are in the fashion business. But I know I do have content for people who just love fashion in general. So any type of fashion information you would want, especially based in Kenya, this is definitely the channel you want. And if you're not from Kenya, you will definitely learn a lot about fashion, the industry in general, and also just what goes on around here. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I really enjoy interacting with you guys. I respond to every single comment, so looking forward to interacting with you, and I guess I'll see you next year. Bye.